and we're able to.
Thank you so much, sir. Okay. So I would like to start the session by saying, which goes as, one's life has values so long as one attributes values to the life of others by means of love, friendship, indignation, and compassion. Good morning, one and all present here. Youth on the Move NGO, in collaboration with SIS College of Management Studies and other multiple institutes across Mumbai, like DY Patil, Ideal College, NKES Group of Institutions, and Konkan Gyanapith, organizes Women Empowerment, Inspiring Youth, and invites you all to attend this prestigious event. Gender inequality is a long term problem in our society. Although legally women have equal rights, they are discriminated against in many ways in the social context in India. Therefore, there is a great need to sensitize the society on such issues so that there would be no discrimination. Women empowerment through sensitization is one of the key criteria to unlock the potential of women in the country. This webinar is organized with an aim to create social sensitization among the colleges issues related to women and women empowerment. This platform will enable the younger audience to learn more on this subject, and such awareness will generate more support towards women in need. We welcome you all. So let's now start the event with a beautiful Saraswati Vandana sung by Renuka Khot.
वक्रतुण्ड महाकाय सूर्यकोटि समप्रभ निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा। मुझको नवल उत्थान दो माँ सरस्वती वरदान दो, मुझको नवल उत्थान दो माँ सरस्वती वरदान दो। माँ शारदे हंसासिनी वागीश वीणा वादिनी, माँ शारदे हंसासिनी वागीश वीणा वादिनी, मुझको अगम स्वर ज्ञान दो माँ सरस्वती वरदान दो, मुझको नवल उत्थान दो माँ सरस्वती वरदान दो। हो सत्य जीवन सारथी तेरी करूं नित आरती, समृद्धि सुख सम्मान दो माँ सरस्वती वरदान दो, माँ सरस्वती वरदान दो, माँ सरस्वती वरदान दो।
A very good morning to one and all present here, and a very warm welcome to our esteemed speaker for the day. We, the management students of CSR Sahyog Committee of SIS College of Management Studies, under the leadership of our director, Dr. Bigyan Varma, and in collaboration with Youth on the Move, welcome all the enthusiastic participants for this exciting session this morning. We appreciate our faculties and students for being active participants in this event. Hope you all are doing great. We welcome our director, Dr. Bigyan Varma from SIS College of Management Studies, Navi Mumbai, Dr. Rakesh Somani and Dr. Priyanka Prabhu from DY Patil University School of Pharmacy, Navi Mumbai, Dr. Smita Takarkhede, Professor Kirtibala Pawar from Ideal College of Pharmacy and Research, Kalyan, and Dr. Mohan Kale from Konkan Gyanapith Rahul Darkar College of Pharmacy and Research Institute, Karjat. I would now request our beloved director, Dr. Vigyan Verma, to share his thoughts with us. Over to you, sir.
Good morning. Thank you, Navya, for the wonderful and mesmerizing start, I must say. And Renuka, you have always been extremely melodious, and thank you so much for the wonderful Saraswati Vandana. I take this opportunity to welcome Dr. Kalpana Gopalan, who so graciously accepted to be with us to discuss on topic or share her experience on something is of huge relevance for each one of us. And I'm also so thankful to all the colleges which are participating, including Dr. Rakesh, Dr. Priyanka, Dr. Smita, Dr. Mohan, and for being here today for this particular event, the webinar. I would like to just give a bit of a overview of our institution in the beginning. SIS or the South Indian Education Society is almost it's a 90-year-old institution. It's one of the probably one of the oldest institution, educational institution in the country as such. And it had a very humble beginning, extremely humble beginning. And it is the edifice of this society is value-based education, and women empowerment is definitely one of them. When we talk about institutional social responsibilities, we've done wonders. As a matter of fact, there's in Shahpur, there's a place called Shahpur, which is about 90 kilometers away from here, and there's a village over there called Khairpada and Gotigar, where the Adivasi young girls, the young girls of 8, 10 years old, didn't have a place to probably sit down in a school, didn't have a good, decent hostel. So you've taken the responsibility of, the entire thing was in a very dilapidated condition. And we took the responsibility of overhauling the entire thing, created a new infrastructure which could house more than 400, 500 students as such, the young girls and boys. And as a result of all these investments and initiatives, the the absenteeism, which used to be a major problem in those schools, has really gone down like anything at all. So we're so glad to do anything like that because we believe in the fact that if you really want to, in fact, a lot of studies, like including McKinsey, says that if you want to really see the the GDP, the global GDP going up, then there has to be a solid, good participation of women in all economic or non-economic activities as such. We all lived through, the current once in a century pandemic. The last that this kind of Holocaust which happened was 1918, but this kind of once in a century pandemic which happened, COVID-19, it certainly has been taxing for each one of us. It rattled the entire world as such, and more so for the progression of the women's right. It was going on a good, decent track, I would say, but then, it took a bit of a hit as such. I say, like, when the time gets tough, tough gets going. But nonetheless, our intent are very clear, and we also know that, including the workplace, unless there's a decent, nice, and decent diversity, the productivity will never ever get enhanced at all. We've got such wonderful examples in our own country. Nirmala Sitharaman, Nita Ambani, Soumya Swaminathan, and Suchitra Illa, Geeta Gopinath. They've all done such wonderful. And one such woman is here right now with us, who's going to share her experience. That really shows how things are changing in our country. And there's a lot to be done, no doubt about that. And I want to tell you that in my own life, I used to teach at a business school called XLRI, and then I moved out and I worked for Morgan Stanley for 5, 6 years. And my boss was none other than Nana Lal Kidwai. Uh, and when we every time I think about her, I get goosebumps. She was an excellent boss, and she's got so many firsts to her name. She was the first Indian woman to get an MBA from Harvard back in 1982. She was the first Indian president of the FICCI, the Federation of Indian Chamber of Commerce, and she was the first woman to head a foreign bank called HSBC operations in India as such. And I don't think I learned from any other men as many the leadership skills which I learned from Nana Lal Kidwai. So whatever I am, I'm like learned of going out of XLI and being a part of the industry. It was definitely to her credit. And believe me, every woman I come across, I feel that she does have that kind of quality and talent as such. So, and in our own institution as such, when we look into the diversity, I'm simply amazed. More than 50% of our students are girls, and 70% of our faculty are women. And the same goes with the staff members also. And they're the ones who are driving this institution for the past 25 years. And no wonder why, for the past 2, 3 years, every year, SIS College of Management Studies and SIS School of Business Studies have been rated as the number one private B school in this city of Mumbai by the Times of India survey. So this is what we are, and to believe that any coin has two sides, and the both sides have to complement, and that's how we were working on that direction. So I'm really glad, Dr. Sureka, that you've organized such a wonderful event webinar, and you got the best woman to talk about the women empowerment and the contributions, and a lot of learnings for the young boys and girls as such. So over to you. Thank you so much, Navya.
Thank you for your enlightening words, Vigyan sir. Now I would like to request Dr. Rakesh Somani from D.Y. Patil University School of Pharmacy to share his thoughts with us. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, thank you so much. Good morning and namaskar to one and all present on this platform. I'm really happy that CSR Sahyog Committee of SIS College of Management Studies and Youth Onmu have very aptly organized this today's webinar titled Women Empowerment and Inspiring Youth. I represent an institution, a university, D.Y. Patil University, Navi Mumbai, which itself is a testimony of lots of activities pertaining to women empowerment. Youth is always at the center of our all activities. And as I remember a quote by Dada Dharmadhikari, well-known thought leader in Maharashtra, he always used to say that who is a youth? Youth means who is having these three qualities of Tejasvita, Tapasvita, and Tatparta. I think D.Y. Patil University always motivate by its various activities pertaining to the soul, body, and mind development. I represent the School of Pharmacy, which is comparatively a new institution in the campus of Navi Mumbai, which was established in 2019, and all our initiatives are towards this youth inspiration of our youth. And also women empowerment is very, very apt, as our Vedas, our history has taught us many times that women have led this country for in many initiatives and many activities. With that, I appreciate Dr. Vigyan Verma, Dr. Kale, Dr. Smita, Dr. Kalpana Gopalan, today's speaker, and everyone who is involved in organizing this event. I also appreciate Dr. Priyanka Prabhu from my own institution for taking an initiative and joining hands with Youth Onmu. Thank you so much for giving me an opportunity to express my thoughts. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Rakesh Somani, sir. We are honored to have you here. Now, I would like to request Dr. Smita Takar Khede from Ideal College of Pharmacy and Research, Kalyan, to share her thoughts with us. Over to you.
Good morning, all. Yeah, good morning, all. And I would like to share my thoughts on this topic. I'm representing Ideal College of Pharmacy and Research from Kalyan. Since last 15 years, this college is involved in many activities. Like it's not only women empowerment, but we are involved in many activities. But I would like to congratulate SIS and Youth on Move to that they have organized such a very good webinar. It is focusing on especially on the young generation, where the girls and boys both can get involved in this topic of women empowerment, because till the education field, they are in the education, yes, everything looks like a very glorious, but once they step into their career, little bit here and there the changes are there. So according to me, my thoughts are like that, where the pockets where there is women are discriminated or have less value, where they can get involved and have a very big opportunities, create a big opportunities for themselves. And on this topic we will be having a great talk on that Kalpana ma'am will be giving. So I am very happy that I'll be hearing her on this today's webinar. So thank you, ma'am, and thank you SIS and Youth on Move that they have given me opportunity to express my thoughts. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Smita ma'am, for your kind words. Now I would like to request Dr. Mohan Kale from Konkan Gyanpeeth Rahul Dharkar College of Pharmacy and Research Institute, Karjar, to share his thoughts with us. Over to you, sir. Mohan sir, are you there?
Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Good morning, one and all. Thanks to Youth on the Move, NGO, as well as SIES College of Management. You all together have taken lots of efforts in organizing this women empowerment, inspiring youth, which is need of the time. We have exceptional guest, Dr. Kalpana Gopalan. She would be talking on this topic. Myself, I would just brief this that having all 5 college principals together and involving youth from all these colleges, it's a wonderful step in discussing this topic of women empowerment. First of all, whenever we talk about women empowerment, we should always remember Savitri Bai Phule and Jyotiba Phule, because this is a couple who started girls' education. Otherwise, there was no one who were educating girls, especially females, in India. And it is this couple who torched the lamp of female education. So all females who are educated today, who are literate today, they should be grateful and express their gratitude towards this couple always. Don't forget the past. With past, with experience, we have to develop ourselves. Women, I suppose, are the messenger of God and next to God, or rather, they are God, goddesses. And each and every male and female, they should look with this angle on all the women, whether she is our sister, whether she is our wife, whether she is our friend, whether she is anyone. But each and every one is ultimately passenger of God. A person, male person in a family and female person in family, you know what is the difference between your father and mother. And with that angle, you should move out always, so that there will always be gender equality. There will be no discrimination in this world. And likewise, at our college, Kopan Gyanpeeth Rahul Dharkar College of Pharmacy, from last so many years, we are conducting all webinars, seminars, and delivering messages with uh, giving proper exposure to all girls as well as boys, and arranging several awareness campaigns and educating this youth. Dear students, dear delegates, always discover your passion. Always discover your passion. Believe in yourself. You are unique and you have lot many hidden talents, and you can do and you can achieve anything you want. Nothing is impossible. Everything is possible. Keep this thing in mind. Always develop your subconscious mind with positive mental attitude, Accumulate positive thoughts, positive thinking, so that your body, mind, soul, all will provide you necessary energy to achieve your goals, and ultimately you will be a highly successful. Always be always disciplined, be dedicated, and as I said earlier, also express gratitude to each and everyone. I, on this platform, would like to express my gratitude to all the organizers of this NGO as well as SIES College for organizing this wonderful event. Congratulate to all organizers as well as participants, delegates. Always see any women as messenger of God. That is one my message. And with this angle, move out in the world. Always believe in them, and they will do it. Always believe in yourself, you will do it. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you for your enlightening words, Mohan sir. Now we move on. We are pleased to have Mr. Rohit Mishra, the president, and Ms. Praniti, a member of Youth on the Move. Youth on the Move NGO has been selflessly working for more than 5 years to serve the society in all possible ways for better environment. Now I request Ms. Praniti to take over and talk about the founder and the NGO. Over to you, Praniti ma'am.
Hello.
Yes, ma'am, you're
Audible?
audible.
Yes. Thank you for giving me an opportunity to introduce Youth on the Move. This organization is established by Mr. Rohit Sharma. Mr. Rohit Sharma is a passionate and selfless person working for the society. He also performs his duties as a sub-editor in Sainik Bharati News. He is a profound member of Maharashtra Forest Green Army. Mr. Rohit has been awarded uh, with the world youngest social worker by Art of Living in Mulund. Over the past 5 years, the Youth on the Move Go Youth on the Move Go is working selflessly to add value in young people's lives. Our vision is to invest the youth's potential and dedication towards the needy, which will bring positive light towards the society while expecting absolutely nothing in return. Mr. Rohit accomplishes his duties as a public relationship officer while handling social activities. He has been appreciated by Mumbai Traffic Police for the amazing work he has done till now. I would like to hand over Rohit Mishra to introduce himself. Mr.
Thank you,
Rohit.
Praniti. Uh, Thank you so much, Praniti. Good morning and welcome everyone for joining us. First of all, I would like to thank Kalpana Gopalan ma'am for giving us her valuable time from her busy schedule to address youth on the women empowerment and the inspiring youth. And I'm very pleased and honored to inform that Kalpana Gopalan ma'am is guiding our organization as an advisor, mentor, and very supportive for our movements. So we've been since 2017, like we wanted to improve the situation of the women who are facing different problems in the society. So we conducted events in tribal area where we educate women on self hygiene and the importance of education and giving them not only like one time support, we are giving a permanent solution for them. Also, we currently planning to open sewing machine centers in various locations to make them an independent in this world. So we never thought that we could running an NGO. I would like to share how the organization has formed. Like after my graduation, I was finding myself helping some or other person who needed a support. So I keep learning lots of problem, listening the problems ki, from the family and the friends, various issues in the society at the particular my age of as a student. What we thought ki let's solve this problem together. My friends Pankaj Jha, the co-founder, and the other team members who were together, and we thought one vision ki we should solve the issues what the people are facing. So we just form a group together to help others. So after that, the group really worked for the helpless people and supporting the people. So we just formed this organization and got the registered all India, and now we have members across the state. So we also worked into various events such as cyber crime awareness, health, education, animal welfare, like government schemes, projects, environment safety, road safety, and waste management, and many more. So I am really grateful to have a team which is hardworking and giving their 100% to help society with me, like always there to support me for the activities. And the major challenges that we face in the NGO is the time management, because our all the members are working professions and students. So somehow they manage the time to give and support for this good cause. And so they're always there to support for ki working selflessly with me to have a motive ki working to bring a change. So I would like to share some new the projects we are majorly working currently is the first, which we are going to provide an ambulance services where in the rural areas where the basic medical facilities is been not provided. So it could be a small support from government. We are focusing district level on the rural areas to get ambulance support for the patients to save their life and the time of their period. Secondly, we are setting a study rooms and library at each locations to involve youth to get a good environment for their education. And third, we are focusing on a shelter home, which will be a home for everyone. We wanted ki no one sleep on the streets in this developed country. Coming developed company, we will be a developed country. So we wanted ki each and everyone should have at least a home to sleep. So we are wanted to set up a shelter home. So these are the three major projects we are working. And first of all, like I would like to thank SIES College uh, of Management Studies, Vigyan Verma sir, and uh, Dr. Durga Sureka ma'am, who is always guiding me for my activities and supporting me for the cause. And always as a mom, you say as a always she is guiding me. And also I like to thank Dr. Rakesh Somani sir from Devi Patil College of Pharmacy for accepting us for these activities and guiding the youth majorly, and Priyanka ma'am for coordination. And also I like to thank Smita ma'am for from Idle College of Pharmacy with Kirti ma'am also for coordinate for the coordination for the activity. I would like to thank the Mohan sir for addressing us and giving a valuable uh, input for us and always supporting us for the cause. And I also like to thank Jyoti ma'am from Konkan Gyanpit College of Pharmacy and Research. So I would like to see these things could not take a single day or a single person can do. Yes, I'm happy to announce that we have so many of the people who are there with us, and so this is the support which we are getting. So I would like to keep supporting and giving the precious time for us for doing all the activities and uh, activities. Thank you so much, everyone, and I would like to give the address to the our advisor, ma'am, Dr. Kalpana Gopalan, madam.
Thank you so much, Rohit. It's a pleasure to finally see you at least online. We've been planning to meet so many times. Somehow it didn't happen because of COVID. So
Yes,
it's
ma'am.
been such a pleasure. So let me first begin by congratulating you on the move, SIES College of Business Administration, T.Y. Patil College of Pharmacy, Ideal of Pharmacy, and Konkan Gyanpit Rahul Dharkar College of Pharmacy and Research Institute. Have I got all of them, Rohit?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, and all the other organizers of today's event. And I thank you all for gathering here on a Saturday morning and for having me with here this morning. Can we go to the presentation? Would one of you like to share the presentation, please?
Dr.
can see-
Kalpana, ma'am, before we begin with the presentation, do you mind if I give your introduction to the
Oh, please.
audience?
Oh, okay. Oh, sure. Please go
Yes.
ahead.
It is an extreme honor to have with us today IAS Officer Dr. Kalpana Gopalan, Additional Chief Secretary, Labour and Janaspandana Public Grievances, and an advisor for Youth on the Move. Dr. Kalpana Gopalan is a composite public policy professional, a true versatilist. She wears many hats: practitioner, policymaker, scholar, author, volunteer, and a mother. She secured the 19th rank in the All India Combined Civil Service Examination in 1987. Her 32-year work experience in the Indian Administrative Service spans land administration, urban management, public distribution system, sports, rural development, youth, training, and education. She is now the Additional Chief Secretary, Department of Youth Empowerment and Sports, Government of Karnataka. Dr. Kalpana is a recipient of the Mother Teresa Women Empowerment Award for her outstanding contribution to excellence in leadership, the International Human Rights Award under the Women of Courage category 2019, and the social activist Pratibha Samman 2020. She was recognized as a great warrior of humanity by the International Human Rights Advisory Council for her outstanding performance, commitment, contribution, and dedication towards the humanitarian services and best practices on COVID-19 prevention 2020, and was appreciated by UNICEF and the Rajiv Gandhi University of Health Sciences for support in COVID-19 response 2020. Ma'am is a LinkedIn Wonder Woman and Inspirational Leader 2020. A hybrid leader with a unique mix of public service, business school, and academic credentials, Dr. Kalpana combines a unique mix of academic and practical experience and works collaboratively across the private, public, and not-for-profit sectors. Dr. Kalpana owned her research skills with a doctorate and master's in public policy from IIM Bangalore. Ma'am was rated among the top 2% of doctoral candidates in the past decade for her research on infrastructure public-private partnerships. A gold medalist and university topper in her undergraduate and masters, Dr. Kalpana was visiting fellow at McGill and Concordia Universities, European Union Fellow, Salerno University and Maxwell Scholar, and Syracuse University. Ma'am trained in Harvard and Chicago Universities and LSE. Dr. Kalpana presents papers in national and international fora, has published 4 books and many journal articles and book chapters, delivering over 500 talks on public and social policy. Dr. Kalpana associates as visiting faculty, fellow, and a governing body member in National Institute of Urban Affairs, ISEC, IISC, IIMB, Christu Jayanti Law College, Acharya B School, and Kuvempu Rural University. Ma'am is an advisor to Bangalore City Corporation, Grant Thornton, AIMS School of Business, Mahatma Gandhi Kashi Vidyapeeth, and Presidency University. Ma'am volunteers as an advisor for Akshay Patra Foundation, Youth on the Move, Asia Entrepreneurship, RAM, Bangalore Women Forum, Center for Health and Development, HER Initiative, and World Congress on Women. Wouldn't take much time, as I know we all are eagerly waiting to hear from the dynamic Dr. Kalpana Gopalan to share her experience and learnings with us. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Navya, for that very, very kind introduction. You just increased my anxiety. I am generally always very anxious when I am called to speak to groups of women, because I wonder, what exactly does my woman audience want? Addressing you all today, I have so many choices. Can we go to the presentation, please?
Vinayak, can you start with the presentation? Yes.
Yeah, let's stay there. I'll give you the cues. I can, of course, talk about myself, the choices that I have made. I have led a not uninteresting life. Or I can speak of what makes a successful woman. Should I give you 5 mantras for success, like a YouTube artist? Such quick fix formulae can descend to superficiality. For behind our lives and our struggles lie powerful structural issues and cultural values and a society resistant to change. We live and work in a milieu where the glass ceiling still exists, where the brilliant successes of some women camouflage the chronic sense of powerlessness that each of us feel at some point or throughout our lives. My predicament as a speaker is actually symptomatic of the dilemma that faces all of us women. The fact is that the women's narrative is still being written. Unlike men, whose roles have been chalked out for centuries now, women have a harder challenge in scripting their individual and collective narratives. Because with every new historical or personal development, our narrative turns and meanders into a new path. We are like a river charting its own course. So, when you ask me to speak about women, it is best that I give you my own example or the example of women that I know. I will speak today to you about women like us who are scripting their own narratives, forging their own life path. Next slide, please. As choices facing us increase, writing the narrative and the very task of choosing which narrative to write about becomes more complex. It can have consequences that one hardly foresees at that time. I made one such choice as a naive and nervous college girl some 30 odd years ago. As I was nearing the completion of my undergraduate degree, BA, it used to be called, one of my officious uncles decided that it was time that I get married. I was generally an obedient child. It was surprising for me because my parents had throughout my life emphasized the importance of education. Study, study, study. That was the mantra of life. And then suddenly they capitulated and they said, yeah, he's saying that, you should get married. So yeah, yes, we should get you married. Now, I was generally an obedient child. I was not a rebellious child. So this was one of the rare confrontations with my parents that I remember. As I said, I was preparing for my BA final exams at that time. And I recall I used to dart out from my room in the middle of my studies to insist, I want to do my MA. I want to do my MA. That was the extent of my horizon and ambition at that time. An MA degree was as far as I could dream. Anyway, it worked. I did get to do my MA, and then the IAS, and then 2 more master's degrees, and then a doctorate. That rare instance of stubbornness defined the rest of my life thereafter. Let's go to the next slide, please. Where narratives are still being formulated, still growing, one small word or gesture can make a world of difference to someone's life. I met Sunidhi Manjunath in Chikmagalur a few months ago. Several months ago now. All of 12 years old, this 7th standard student of the Asha Kirana Blind School captivated me with her agility in playing blind chess. Before that day, I didn't even know that there was something called blind chess. Sunidhi is fully visually challenged, but her skill and smile belie this. When I saw her playing and her mastery at the game, I said spontaneously, I won't be surprised if Sunidhi becomes a champion soon. And she did it. She won the first prize in the first National Open FIDE rating chess tournament for the visually challenged in Goa, just a few months after we met. And this is the message from Sunidhi's parents that I received. It came in Kannada, and I'll read it in Kannada and then translate it for you. Hardiga ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳು madam. That is heartfelt thanks, madam. ತಮ್ಮ ಕಾಳಜಿ ಕಕ್ಕಳಿಗಳು ಆ ಮಗುವಿನ ಭವಿಷ್ಯದ ಅತಿ ದೊಡ್ಡ ಆಶಾಕಿರಣಗಳು. You remember the school she studies is Asha Kirana, and they told me that the interest and the concern that you showed her has become the Asha Kirana of our child and our child's future. It is a message that I cherish. A chance meeting resulted in a lifelong association. Next slide, please. Now let me narrate Mallika's story. Mallika drives a buggy at the KLE Medical College, Belagavi. Mallika lost her husband when she was very young and had to bring up her 2 children, a boy and a girl, as a single mother. Luckily for Mallika, the women's wing of the KLE Society took her under its wing. It is one example of how women can help women. Mallika was trained to drive, provided employment, and over a period of time, she got her daughter married, educated her son, while she still continues to drive. As Mallika narrated her story to me, her story was a happy one. Looking at her with her bright, cheery smile, and there's a story behind that photograph, which you see on the screen. I heard Mallika's story and I told her, Mallika, it was late in the evening, and I said, Mallika, I want a photograph with you. I need to take a pic with you. And she said that, okay, but you will have to be ready at 6:30 in the morning because at 7 I'll have to start driving the buggy. So she gave me an appointment, a photo opportunity at 6:30 a.m. And you can see that Malika is all ready and cheerful and bright. And I am still in my nightie. I got up straight from bed and took a photograph with her. So looking at her with her bright, cheery smile at 6:30 a.m., you would never guess the struggles that she has had to overcome in life. For me, Malika is a heroine. In my work in the government or my voluntary work outside it, I get to interact with women like Sunidhi and Mallika and you, who inspire me with their stories of determination, challenge, and survival. One thing I find in common among such women is their authenticity. These women are not seeking money or fame or power. They are not looking at what their neighbor or their co-worker has. They are busy living their own life. They do not waste time in petty rivalries or envy or bad mouthing someone else. Their days are full with balancing their own joys, disappointments, and chores, and ticking their many, many to-do lists. From their own lives and from my own life, I have drawn some lessons that I would like to share with you today. Next slide, please. 1. Invest in yourself. It could be health, fitness, nutrition, pursuing a degree, reading, or having a financial nest egg. Your mind and body and mutual funds will stand you instead when life gets difficult. Next, please. 2. Build a support network. Ask for help and allow yourself to be helped and contributed to. Get your children involved. Work together as a team. Train yourself and your children and your partner and your subordinates in your office to be self-reliant. One of the best decisions that I took in my life was to let everyone in the family cook. It's a very simple decision, but it was one of the best decisions of my life, much to the shock of my mother and my mother-in-law. Now I can rest easy that wherever they are, and now my son is a neurosurgeon and my daughter is a corporate lawyer, but I rest easy that wherever they are, pandemic or no pandemic, my children can fix a meal for themselves without the assistance of the Zomato or Swiggy. Recruit friends, family, neighbors, bosses, work colleagues, ask for their support. Grandparents are the staple of the Indian family support system. Be prepared by creating backup and emergency plans. Always have contingency plans. Next slide, please. 3. Determine your own standards. Get rid of the notion of being a perfectionist. Don't try to have it all, want it all. Loving daughter, fond sister, caring mother, supportive spouse, dynamic career woman. We would like to be all these things, won't we? Well, having it all is like having a full meal that you cannot eat. In the very least, having it all and doing it all will give you a severe indigestion. And at worst, you may end up with a nervous breakdown. Wean yourself off perfectionism by making compromises. Figure out where are the best places to make compromises without shortchanging yourself. Live by your own standards rather than someone else's. Standards are about you and refer to your behavior and the actions you are willing to hold yourself to. Find your own pace and walk to it. March to the beat of your own drum. Next, please. 4. Find an interest or several interests. The working world has its share of frustrations and disappointments. You need something to keep you in good stead, to keep your mind calm and stable. For me, it is academics. I call it my drug. I love to study. But it could be anything: voluntary work, designing, photography, spirituality. Seize opportunities with both hands, whether it is travel, an assignment, or just a chance to meet someone. Every opportunity adds value, helps you grow. Next, please. The most rewarding opportunity of all is to help someone who is less privileged than you are. Not the kind of charity where you contribute some money and forget about it, but the kind where you actively involve, engage, and make a difference to someone, even one person's life. This woman in the picture is like you, but for the accident of your respective birth locations. She multitasks, so do you. But you have a choice. You are employed by employers who allow you to go on maternity leave and limit your working hours to 8 a day. She has no such choices, no such protection. If you can make a difference to her life, please do. Next, please. Let go of all guilt, all bitterness. Guilt is one of the greatest wastes of emotional energy. It causes you to become immobilized in the present because you are dwelling in the past. Guilt can be very debilitating. By introducing logic to help counterbalance the guilt, you can avoid sabotaging your efforts and stay better on course. Life treats all equally. Life compensates. Instead of blaming someone else, take control of your life and make choices around it. Thereafter, own the consequences. Be happy. This life is only for once. Next, please. I would like to add one more thing. Faith helps. Faith in yourself, in those close to you, and in God or the universe. It especially helps in sledgehammer times when life is hard. A few years ago, there's a district called Coorg in Karnataka. It was devastated by floods. That was at the same time of the Kerala floods, 2018. I was district secretary of Coorg at that time. What I saw was a people who refused to break down. Their cheer, their confidence, their courage was intact even as they saw their homes and lands vanish before their eyes. There are times when there is no formula, no solution. There is just you. And you, I know for sure, will find your own way, your own balance for a better life. So, my dear fellow women and men, every time life throws googlies in your path, I want you to think of Mallika and Sunidhi and women like them that you know. And I want you to think about yourself, how you revolutionized your world, how you made it happen. And I want you to applaud yourself. You can make it happen. Thank you all very much. Good luck. Jai Hind.
I would like to thank you, ma'am, for enlightening us with so much of knowledge and life experiences on such an important topic here. I'm sure everyone here has a lot to take away from from session. I would now like to request the audience to post their questions that they want to address about the subject in the chat box. You can post your questions in the chat box. We'll read it out to them. We'll read it out to ma'am. Anyone with questions can even raise their hands if they want. We can address the question then.
Okay. Pal Anuj Samar Bahadur. There is a question from Anuj Samar Bahadur. Anuj, you can unmute yourself and speak. Ask your question.
We are unable to hear you.
Mr. Anuj, you're not audible. Hello?
Properly? What are the decisions taken by the government precaution?
Don't hear him fully. I don't hear you. There's a lot of disturbance.
Maybe you can just put your question in the chat box so that we can read that out, because there's a lot of disturbance in the background.
Okay, we can move to the next question, I believe. So, Mr. Pankaj Jha from Youth on the Move. So, please go ahead.
Oh, hi, ma'am. So I'm little curious about this thing. So just wanted to ask, did you get a chance to choose IAS among IAS, IFS, and IPS? If yes, why did you choose IAS?
Oh, okay. The way it is done, I think you must be familiar with that. The top ranks go to the IAS and followed by the Indian Foreign Service and then
Yeah.
followed by the IPS and then come all the other central services.
Okay.
So I was 19th in the All India merit list,
Yeah.
and IAS was in any case my first choice. We give our choices before the ranks come.
Oh,
And IAS was in any case my first choice. So I just went into it naturally. So since you particularly asked about the choice between IAS and IPS, but what is
yeah.
really the more the real story is why did I get into the civil services in the first place? Because that was not my first career choice. I
Oh,
completed my MA degree, the story of which I told you.
yeah.
After which I got into IIT Madras as a research scholar, as a PhD candidate. And in those days, just as you have IIT JEE for the BTech program, you had an examination which is called CIRA, Common Examination for Research Admission, which is the entrance exam for the doctoral program. And it was a combined exam of all the IITs together. And I topped that exam with some 99 percentile or something. And I got into IIT Madras for the PhD program. But my IIT Madras is at that time was trying to be a more inclusive institute, but it was still largely a technological institute, as it still continues to be. And my interest was in humanities and social sciences. So after
Great.
about a year there, I felt that they did not have a guide who could guide me in my particular area of interest. So in fact, writing the CSE itself was my fallback option. Otherwise, I would have gone into research straight away. So so I quit I wrote the civil CSC, got into the IAS, and I quit the PhD program. But I was a thana that I was always having this, that it was adhura reh gaya, that my research or my doctoral program I had not completed. So many years later, mid service, in 2007 actually, I got into IIM Bangalore to do the PhD, which I had quit so many years ago, and I completed. So instead of IIT Madras, I got my PhD from IIM Bangalore. So that is how it happened. The original question which you asked, IAS versus IPS, for me the natural choice was always the IAS, and
Thank you, ma'am.
I happened to get the rank which gave me that service.
Got it. You have done a lot of things in your career here and there and uh, different education sectors, and finally you are at IS level. Thanks for guiding us, ma'am. And you are really a backbone to Youth on the Move NGO. Uh, Rohit keeps us seeing how you connect to him and keep guiding on the upcoming events and all. So,
It
ma'am,
makes
thanks a
me
lot.
so proud to see the work that you're doing.
Thank
And
you,
I'm
ma'am.
so glad that we could meet today, and at least online.
Yeah,
Maybe
ma'am.
now time will come that someday I'll visit you as well.
Yeah, will great. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Ma'am, so there is another question from Miss Jyoti Lahani. Miss Jyoti, you can go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. It was actually very inspiring lecture by you. I really like the advice which you have given, that is stop being excelling at multiple roles to women. Yes, ma'am, it is really very tiring to excel in all the roles. I'll really keep that advice in mind every time. Ma'am, my question is, can you give some guidance to these aspiring and young students about how to qualify for this civil services examination? And the one more thing I would like to know, can you also give some importance or role of these civil service examination, so that like once if these students qualify for this examination, how they can contribute to the society, improvement of overall society का जो status है वो improve करने के लिए, how they can contribute while being in these services?
Okay.
So these are my questions.
This
Thank
is
you, ma'am.
Thanks for the question. It's a full topic in itself, and maybe at some time, I do conduct sessions for aspirants CSE aspirants as to how to approach their civil services examination. But let me just give you a gist now. The thing is persistence, persistence, persistence. That is it. Okay, this is an examination. It's an and it's not, you know, it's not and it's not like an entrance examination that you write, you get the answers right and you get it. It's not a one-shot examination like our other entrance examinations are. It is a process, and it tries to be as comprehensive as possible, which means that the preliminary exams test basically your knowledge and they are qualifying in nature. The main exams test your analytical skills, how deep you can go into the subject, and they are descriptive in nature. And the interview tests your personality and aptitude, and that is a viva. That is, you do it face to face. So it is not a one-shot examination the way other entrance examinations are. It is a whole process, and it does, I think, does a fairly reasonable job of selecting the right person for the right job. The nuances of how to approach the examinations at different papers, I am happy to meet with you once again and we can have a longer session. Now, how do you contribute once you get into? Once you sign up for the civil service examinations and whichever service you get in, you are signing up for public service. I must tell you that you are signing up for public service within the constraints of being a civil servant. एक चौकट में you काम कर रहे हो. You understand that. You will not have, for example, the freedom which Rohit has or Pankaj has, Youth on the Move has, because there you are freelancers. But here you are, within a mandate. You have the rules and regulations and still you contribute. You always keep your work first. That said, I also want to again and again emphasize, and this I have been doing, the time when you had to join the civil services to do public service. That was the way it was in my time. You want to work for society, this was the best and probably the only and definitely the best way. Today it is no longer so. Each of you, wherever you are, can contribute to nation building. Each of you, wherever you are, whatever you do, you can be a participant in public service. See, my children are both in private sector. My son is a doctor and my daughter is a lawyer. But they spend part of their time doing something, whatever is within their reach. So my son goes to rural areas, offers medical services. My daughter, she is fond of animals. So in her weekends, she goes to a home for stray cats, and she does what she loves animals. So she does something for cats, and I get pictures of her surrounded by lots of cats once in a while. So there are ways and ways in which you can contribute to society without necessarily joining the government. And you will have perhaps more freedom than we in government have, because you are not constrained by the regulations of being in government service. Public service is for all of us. And I always say that start immediately and start with what is closest to you. Look around you, see who needs your help the most and start helping. That's as simple as it is. It doesn't need a movement. It doesn't need, you can do it in groups, you can do it singly. It doesn't need organization. It just needs a seeing eye and a helping hand. So I hope I've answered your question.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, we would appreciate if you can collaborate again and have an extensive talk on this. And we would love to have you at our college, that is Konkan Gyanpit Rao Dharkarwal College of Pharmacy, which is located at Karjat.
Sure.
So it will be great if you can join again.
Sure. Rohit has my
Thank
email
you,
ID. You can write to me and we can set up something.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Ma'am, there is a question from Mr. Anuj Samar Bahadur in the chat box. So I'll read it for you. So
Yes.
he says that, ma'am, my question is, what are the rules and regulations and policy for Child Marriage Act? And Baba Amte and Swami Vivekananda and our first Prime Minister women Indira Gandhi and Pratibha Patil, and how important or significant was their service to our country and education?
It's very, very specific. Child marriage is prohibited, but you will have to look up the details to actually look. I have not actually implemented the Child Marriage Act, except in my capacity as Deputy Commissioner many years ago. Uh, you'll have to look up the details, but child marriage is prohibited. Regarding the service of what is in the public domain is what I know. None of the personalities whom you have mentioned have been part of my personal experience. I was in college when Indira Gandhi died. I have never met Baba Amte. What I know is what is in the public domain. Uh, each of them have contributed significantly in their own way, and all of us remain inspired by what they have done. For me personally, yes, we all grew up. Our generation grew up looking up to Indira Gandhi. She was the beacon of women's leadership for us in those days. So strong, so compassionate, so feminine at the same time. Her sense of taste, her strength, everything about her inspired us. So I think directly or indirectly, she has influenced the lives of so many women of my generation, and I still look up to that strength and gentleness at the same time. That was great. So, on a personal note, yes, Indira Gandhi resonates with me more. But each of the personalities whom you have mentioned have contributed in their own way. Uh, in their respective spheres.
Any other questions? Mr. Saigan Shirkar, you have a question, you can go ahead.
Am I audible, ma'am?
Very, very feebly, so just speak a little louder.
Am I audible, ma'am?
Speak a little louder. That's all. You are audible, but it's very soft.
Hello, ma'am.
Yeah.
I am from Ideal College. My name is Saigan Shirkar.
Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am, for your guidance. It is a very valuable guidance for our. So my question is, what preparation you will done for the civil service examination, and you got the 19th rank in civil service examination.
What preparation did I do? I slogged. There's no other word for it. As I already explained, it's a process. It's a very long drawn process. So you should have persistence. That is central. I had less than a year to prepare. As I told you, I was doing my PhD at that time. And then, going to the PhD, I realized that, I need to look for a different career option. And that's how I wrote the civil service exam. I studied hard. To an extent, I studied smart. The resources were not as varied and as available as today. Internet was not there in my time. So basically, we had books and newspapers. One of my subjects was English, which had been my subject in college. And the other subject was a new subject, history, which I took. So I would advise all of you to choose at least one subject which you already know at the master's level. Then it is easier to prepare. What exactly did I do? I thought up and read up important topics and made notes. And when the exams got near, I revised them once again. That in essence is exactly what I did. Tried to know as much about my subjects and as much about the syllabus as I could. See, though there is a syllabus, they can literally ask anything. That is how it works. So you need to know everything. You also need to know what to draw. I even had this nightmarish situation when I looked at the question paper and I saw that every topic that I had decided to drop had appeared in the question paper. But then I had such a sound knowledge of the domain completely. I knew my subject so thoroughly. So even though those specific questions I may not have prepared, I was able to give very credible and analytical answers because I had trained myself how to think. So that is the way you approach the main exams. For the preliminary exam, just know it is a simple knowledge qualifying exam. There isn't any other way except slogging. So that's what you need to do, Cycle. Best of luck.
Yes, ma'am. And ma'am, in interview process, what are the keys for impress the interviewer?
They look for, don't try to fake it. That's one. If you don't know, say you don't know. They are not looking for, whether they've already tested your knowledge. See, so they are looking at your personality and your aptitude. So you should be able to face a situational thing. In my case, what they did was 3 or 4 of them asked questions at the same time. Like someone would ask while I'm trying to answer that question, someone else would interrupt. So then I was calm enough to not get rattled, and I said, yes, let me finish answering this question and then I'll come to you. So that is what they did with me. So they'll try that kind of thing. In my case, it was that. In your case, it could be different. But basically, we see in all the services, and particularly in the IAS and the IPS, you are confronting difficult situations on a daily basis. And you are also on a roller coaster. You may be needing to take multiple decisions in very quick succession. And you need to be able to change course when the situation changes course. And that is basically what they are trying to test you about, whether you will be able to cope or not. So let me give you an example from after entering the service. That was my first day at work, and I had I completed my training. I was posted in a subdivision called Savanur, which is in the northern part of Karnataka. The northern part of Karnataka, Dharwad district, a very large district. My own subdivision was the largest subdivision in the state at that time. And I land there and join, and there is an irrigation committee meeting. And irrigation committee meeting is a very interesting thing. A river flows its course, all of you know, it's just common sense. Now, when a river flows its course and enters the canals and then irrigates the fields, there are those who are the head enders, who are at the top. The land is undulating, so they're at the top of the land, and their fields and their farms are at the top, and therefore they have necessarily the water reaches there first, and then there are the tail enders who are at the bottom, and the water reaches there late. So the head enders, thanks to gravity, can stop. They can put boulders or construct check dams and prevent water from flowing gravitationally down to the tail enders. So the irrigation committee meeting is to redress this imbalance, and bring some kind of equity in water distribution. Basically, this was it. And I land there in my subdivision, and I have to chair this. I am the chairperson as assistant commissioner. We call it assistant commissioner here. In other states, it's called sub-collector or subdivisional magistrate. So I had to chair this, and so I traveled to that place which is called Hanagal, and I go there, and I faced a riot situation. I didn't know. I thought I'm just going there to chair a meeting, and there is there's already so much bad blood between the head enders and the tail enders that they were almost coming to blows. And I'm new there, and I had nothing, virtually nothing, except my voice. And in those days, I was younger and had a louder voice. So I just got some makeshift box or something, some wooden box. I stood on it, and someone brought something which approximated to a megaphone. It was not a regular mic, but it was some kind of horn kind of thing. And I spoke into it, and using my very loud voice, I quelled the people who were nearly coming to blows at that time. I told them I've come there only to see that things are done fairly and justly. I calmed them down, and then maybe after about 20 minutes or so of convincing, they decided that this new assistant commissioner is somebody whom they can rely upon. And then we had sat together and we had a perfectly cordial and amicable meeting and came to a solution which lasted, until the next season. So you enter there blind, and you use your inner resources and your intelligence and your desire to do good and never do harm. And then you cope. And that's what they test you about.
Thank you so much
Thank
for
you. Thank you so much, ma'am, for all the enlightenment that you have given us today. Now, I would request all the participants to just fill out the form which has been sent on the chat box. It will just take a minute. Just fill the form that's been circulated in the chat box. Yes. I hope you all have received it. Navya, you can go ahead.
Thank you for your wonderful presentation and inspiring words, ma'am. I believe that made the session even more exciting and memorable for our audience. And I'm pretty sure that it was indeed a fruitful session for all the audience and attending the session. And definitely each one has something to take along with them. Once again, we are honored, we're extremely honored to have you amongst us, ma'am. Deepest gratitude to you, ma'am, from all of us.
Thank you so much, and thank you all. Thank you, Rohit. Thank you, Youth on the Move, and all the other organizers. It's been a wonderful morning for me. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Gopalan.
Vigyan sir, would you like to share a few words?
No. I like I was mesmerized by the talk of Dr. Kalpana Gopalan. It was absolutely brilliant, and I'm sure there are a lot many extremely important lessons for our students, both from this institution and other institutions also. It was absolutely brilliant. And ma'am, we'd like to give you a rain check to come over to our campus any day as per your convenience and meet our students face to face.
I would love to come. Thank you so much, and thank you for your kind words.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir. Thank you to all the faculties and the wonderful audience for your presence and for being a patient listener. Looking forward to similar interaction and active participation in the upcoming events. Moving on, Vinay, can we start with the presentation? Yes. So on behalf of CSR Sahyog Committee, I would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude to our very own Professor Durga Surekha for all the support, guidance and hand-holding. The mic is all yours, ma'am. Over to you.
Yeah. Thank you for, ma'am. It was really a wonderful session to have you with us. And we welcome you for a physical interaction now that no more corona. And we would like you to visit our campus and address the student personally, because there is lot of learning that the students will have it after hearing your session. Look forward for the session, ma'am, and thank you for the Youth on the Move organization for jointly collaborating And it was not a takeaway for SIS students alone, but all the institutions who have been a part of this webinar, and the youth who 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 had a great enthusiasm to hear from you, and look forward for more such sessions, ma'am, because the younger generation needs to hear from people like you. Thank you, ma'am, for giving your time. And we wind up the session here. A very, what to say, and an invitation to you to visit our campus along with others, because all the sister institutions are also nearby. So one day, if you block your day, it is very easy to collaborate.
Sure, sure. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you all very much and have
Thank
a
you.
lovely day.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you,
Thank
ma'am.
you so much, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, Devashri. Thanks, Navya. And thanks
Yeah.
to all the principals for
And
joining
Rohit,
this event.
Mr. Rohit Mishra, thank you so much. Navya, you very well done. And Rohit, we looking forward to meet you someday on the campus.
Thank you.
Rohit?
Ma'am is always guiding me, Durga ma'am.
Yeah, I know. Looking forward to meet you on the campus someday.
Yes,
And
sir.
the Sahyog committee, wonderful job. Dr. Durga, well done.
Thank you, sir.
Hmm.
Thank you for your kind words, sir.
Thank you.
Bye. Take care.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Yeah. Devashri and Navya, and will have a picture. You take a picture with from Rohit, sir. Yeah, just if sir is around, also I can take it.
Yes.
I have taken.
Yeah, fine.
Thank you, Devashri. Ma'am, I
Yeah.
stop the recording.
Yeah, stop the recording and now go back to your links for your idea research.